Hey everybody, it's there Mauer again. Today I'm talking about part two. Yesterday I was talking about the four stages, the four things in which how we're going to grow in consistency to get better as a person. And yesterday we kind of talked about the what and the understanding of doing more than just improving at the job, but improving overall with ourselves. Today I want to talk about the how. Do you know how to get better? And everybody's after something different that we can't hide from. So this can't be so specific to you individually, but these tips that I'm about to share can be applied to no matter what it is that you're trying to do to get better. You know, the first thing that I talk about is when I give workshops or I teach or I coach or whatever it might be, is I'm not just there to inspire. I want to make sure people walk away with a plan, with a guide in terms of how to get better. Because if I inspire and you walk away with the skills of the idea is not to get better, then I failed you. And so one of the first things that I like to talk about is, and I mentioned it in the previous video, is you have to surround yourself with people. If you don't know how, you don't have the knowledge and the insight to get better yourself, then you need to get help. You need to find those people. You need to ask questions. You need to do the research. You need to empower yourself. This marathon training that I'm doing right now, for example, no idea how to train. I have no idea what I should be doing for track workouts, or when to do a long run, or when to increase it, or what the tempo run should look like, or what's the rep pace versus the tempo pace versus the interval pace. Those are things I have no idea. But getting myself in a group surrounded by hundreds of people that do know, with a coach, with a guide, is helping me learn those things. And that just trickles into other avenues where now I'm reading and researching more about myself. How do I burn, the fat stores in the body versus, soaking up and blazing through my glucose stores. It's the same thing, whether in education or you're learning a new skill or trade, whatever it is that you want to do. Get yourself surrounded by the people that do know and learn from them, and don't be afraid to ask. So many people are terrified of asking for help. People want to help. You got to find the good people, and they'll help you and guide you. And one day you'll find yourself leading the way, and people will be asking you. The second thing is, so many times we got to think about starting small. This is knowledge and insight that isn't mind-blowing by any means, but we've got to think about setting up goals and accomplishments that we can easily attain early on to build that confidence. Because what we're really doing is not celebrating the small tasks, but we're building a habit. We're building a new lifestyle, a new mindset where when we can attain these small goals, we start to realize that yes, we can do this. And so many times, myself included, in the last couple of years, is I've bitten off way more than I can chew, trying to get back into training when I used to be pretty decent, is thinking I need to go right back to those paces, those guides, that weight class. And now I'm realizing that's why I'm having success 6 weeks in, is it's small, little steps. If you bite off more than you can chew, and you set the goal so high, you're almost guaranteed to fail, even though there's some positivity in there, even though you've made some gains. And oftentimes people quit when they do that, right when they're on the cusp of greatness. And so start with those small, tangible things. I like this quote here, and so I'm gonna read from it right here. That the small discipline repeated with consistency every day leads to great achievements gained slowly over time. And so I just wrote a blog post a couple weeks back on Coffee for the Brain about that. Being successful isn't hard. The hardest part is being patient, which is my third tip, and understanding that we have to rewire our brain. That hard work is more important if we can stay consistently patient to reach our goals. To run a marathon is not hard. It's not difficult, as I talk about in the blog post. What's hard is having the discipline, the patience to run every day. But it's not a difficult thing to do. What's difficult is to grind it out. Getting up early every morning when I don't want to. Getting up and running when I don't want to. But that pays off in the long run. You're not going to see the results overnight, but they'll get there. And so we have to stay patient and understand that patience is probably the hardest part of anything when we start to think about how we want to improve. And the last thing, to me, is the most important one, is we have to value the process. So many times we're trying to attain this goal, this end piece, and we get there, and then we don't know what to do next. We check it off our bucket list, and then we go right back to what we've been doing. We've got to value the process, understand how we're growing and learning. Are we keeping track of things? We got to take our attitudes and the ideas we have in our head and move those into habits. And we move those into habits, then those can become goals. And those annual goals can start to become lifetime goals. And it just keeps building this momentum. Oftentimes I've talked about creating a notebook. I have a notebook, I write in every day, kind of like the bullet journal. And maybe I'll show that here when this series is over, of how I'm hitting my goals. I don't have timelines, but things that I'm trying to reach in my life. And those are just little side quests to see the things that I'm laser focused on allowing me to hit these other side goals, because I believe that they all come together at the same time. And so as we go through, remember that you're probably going to fail. I don't like to talk about failure. I feel that it's overdone quite a bit. But I love this quote from Jack Welch in the book Winning the Answers. And he says that all failing really does is teach you something you needed to know, so you can regroup and teach again with ever more. And so I like that. You have to remember that we're going to fall down. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to do things that maybe we shouldn't do. But we learn from that. It's teaching us something. And that's what it's about. So today, the challenge that I have for you is to think about that is, do you know how? We talked about the what. Today was the how. How are you going to get there? But I'd love to hear how you are improving. What is it? What's your structure, your strategy to know that you know how to reach your goal, to become more consistent in your personal growth? Tomorrow we're going to talk about the inevitable why, which there's so much out everywhere. But part 3 is the why, and probably the most pivotal, because if you don't have a why, there's no point in doing what you're doing. This is Coffee Chug. I'm out. Have a great day, and remember to keep working hard to get it done.